Hello again, everybody. This is going to be another Watch Your Realms video. In this one, it's just going to be a quick preview. In the Immortal Codex, we have been given the preview of the new boss that is actually coming to the Forerunners server in the next version of the Immortal Codex, and it's going to be Pelagius, some form of him that we're going to have to fight this time. They are naming him the Furious Torrent, and so he will actually be a little bit of a menace, and he is going to summon a lot of friends, so you can look forward to that. Now let's talk about this guy. When you want, you can come and read his story, but essentially, if we are looking at everything it says here, is that it's in white, so it's really hard to read, but the basic rundown is that he is going to be summoning the tridents, and we need to get rid of the tridents, because if we don't crush them and disassemble them for Mary, which apparently is going to be in the battle in some sort, instead of us doing damage, he will do great damage to us, and if he stacks more than 10 tridents, we're done. The battle is going to be done. Another key aspect of this fight is that eventually, over time, all our allies will gain attack speed, which tells me that we are going to need somebody or a composition that has very good basic attacks, or in this manner, people that can hit multiple times. So we'll see what multiple targets, so we'll see exactly what we're able to form during composition. But everything here is basically a summary of the 4 skills that I'm going to go through with you. His saltwater regime, and this is where I was telling you about that he's going to be summoning these tridents. So once the tridents are destroyed, Mary will yield the tridents to attack. The Furious Torrent deal massive damage to him. In his initial form, the Furious Torrent summons 3 tridents, but in the boss rush, he will summon an extra 2. He could have up to 11 of them in the battlefield at one time. And then remember, he gets 10. We're baked for. In his annihilating surge, which is exactly what the damage comes in, the Furious Torrent yields the power of the ocean to absorb his tridents to deal high damage to all heroes. The more tridents absorbed, the higher the damage dealt. If the Furious Torrent absorbs more than 10 tridents, all heroes will be instantly killed. He has the passive, the Peljack Swarm. The Furious Torrent marshals an army of light armored airborne monsters to summon and protect him. That's a lot of units that we're going to have to worry about, especially if we want to get past them, and then we have to take the tridents down. So right away, that is the thought is you are going to need AoE damage dealers, right? Multiple targets being hit. Who in the hell are we going to bring for that? Now, there are 2 classes that do that, the marksmen and the mages. So when I first looked at this, I was thinking that maybe this was going to be a boss where mages could possibly come into play, but they did add a restriction to that, and I will go over that here in a second. All right, so after this airborne monsters to summon, so only by eliminating the outer circle monsters can the heroes then attack the inner circle monsters and the Furious Torrent. Yeah, we're gonna need to take these guys as soon as possible. So then the Furious Torrent will also summon some bonus monsters. Okay, now here the English is a little bit broken, but it says by killing which heroes will restore certain HP and rage. So just by reading it, I'm thinking that the inclination here is when these monsters come out, they're going to come after your healers or anybody in the support class. So I'm thinking that they don't want us using rage boost or anybody that can heal. I'm gonna be interested to see what type of mechanic this is, because it is interesting how it was written, and so that's how I'm taking it. If you have a different interpretation of this, comment below and we can certainly talk about it. But this is going to be interesting here. And then the boss rush phase, killing the monsters grants certain points. So, okay, so not only hitting the monsters, but hitting the boss will we will able to get some points out of it. So that's pretty good. And then the last thing is the Furious Torrent gradually increases magic resistance of monsters he summons each time. To me, that takes the mages out. Now, there is one thing that I was going through the gallery here because I wanted to see if that indeed was going to be the case, because one of my inclinations was the AoE targets was going to be mages, but I have a feeling that the developers already believe that the mages are going to have a standing in the new gear dungeon, so maybe they want to make them too redundant with this boss. So given that most of them are magic resistant or magic power, magic damage mages, that they are not going to fare very well on the long term of the battle. I'm hesitant to say when we bring him in, maybe it says when any enemy approaches within 2 tiles of Ajax, he inflicts magic resistance reduction on them. How good this might be, I'm not sure. I just have a hard time relying on this, because I don't know how in the battlefield everything's going to be arranged and how close those enemies are going to be, right? And it has to be within 2 tiles of him. So we'll see if this would come into play, but I'm not sure if I want to completely rely on this, because it's only 10%. So right away in my mind, I'm taking the mages out. So who's left? Well, that's going to be the marksman, and I'm looking for AoE hitters. So one of the things is I was thinking, well, can Pelagius himself be a one? No, he deals magic damage, so he's going to be out with his AoE attack. I was looking at Rasak. He has AoE attack, especially in his basic, and of course we all know about his ultimate, so he can deal damage to multiple units. We'll see how that plays out. Could Alora do it? Alora has that ultimate, right? That if there's anybody around the initial target, she can then hit 2 more targets. You know, it's a split attack, but we could probably make it work. And who else was it? Let me see, who do I have now? If this guy comes out before, I think people are gonna use them. Hatsu, she might come into play depending on how far away from her the enemies are. Nyx might actually see some play. She has AoE damage in her ultimate. I use it for GR3, so definitely that might come into play to try to bring those units down. Silas, we know he's a boss damage, so if we time him correctly, we can actually get some damage into the boss when he is actually available after we take all the units down. And then, I hate to say it, but we might have to try Crash for this, especially if he's A5, because then we will have this chance to misfire. But he has AoE damage in his hit and then his basic. Hey, it's worth it, right? 15% of the enemy ignores 15% of the enemy's defense. Why not? Let's throw him in there, see if there is any way that we can make him work in there. I do really think that misfire thing will come into play, so if you have him A5, it might be worth trying them. I might even let's see, defense reduction with this A3. Yeah, I might give him a whirl in my global account. Not here in the Forerunner account. It would have to be in the global account just to give him a shot, just to see if he can perform well. And we all know that you load him with enough attack, he does excellent AoE damage, and his ultimate comes back really quick. So he might. I think that this is going to be a marksman type of boss. So we'll be able to use them. The ones at least that are multi-target hitters, AoE damage dealers. Those are the ones that we might be able to use there. And of course, mages, but you may need Ajax if you want to make 1 or 2 mages work. Well, we'll see. We'll see how that all plays out. So that's kind of a brief preview that I can give you in what to expect for the new boss. Whether he comes out in its form as is presented here on the Forerunner server, I can't promise that. The Arbiter of Frost was very different. The first run in Forerunners, and then once he was released in Global, they changed the mechanics of him a lot. And with this guy, we'll just have to give him a try on the beta, because it's going to be the first time that we see him. And then after that, they're going to have to decide how they're going to release him in the global server. So with that, folks, remember, hit like and subscribe on your way out. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on the next video.
Together, we are the shield.